No brains, like, no brains at all. Literally no brains. Hello everyone and welcome back to Frogs Hollow TV for part 2 of episode 13 featuring the recent AORC Pooncarie Desert Dash. Derek and I were lucky enough to make the trip down to Pooncarie and witness AORC round 2 live. It was a great weekend. It was a bit of a wet start to the weekend, but the conditions were just A1 for racing, and some of the ruts, I mean, when we left on Sunday afternoon, like you looked, because the track run basically alongside the main road in from Kumialla, and some of the ruts were extraordinary. I mean, I've never seen anything like it on a racetrack, but credit to everyone that finished. I know there was about 36 cars that finished the full race distance, which is extraordinary in itself. As I said, tough race, dominated by the buggies. Yeah, it was great to see when you sort of walk through the final finishes, the buggies at the top. It doesn't happen a lot in off-road racing in Australia anymore, I must say. The first truck was Brent Smoothy. He came home in 7th, but yeah, it definitely was a buggies weekend down there in Pooncarie. It was an emotional weekend. I mean, I did a lot of live streaming across the course of the day for offroadracing.com.au, Murray and Julie there, and to see Team Taylor, Ryan Taylor, and everyone back at home. I mean, I was actually standing out in the open for the final stages of that last lap on that Sunday afternoon, and to see Ryan Taylor and Kai Floyd, a new navigator, come home in first place. It's been nearly 40 odd years for Team Taylor, and they finally cracked the #1 spot on AORC, and it was an emotional moment. I got a bit teary, and the face went a bit numb. But Ryan Taylor, mate, I was there. I was the first person to see you when you rocked into the sporting club about midnight on the Thursday night, and you looked absolutely buggered, mate, from your trip down from Brisbane. Credit to you guys. I know the prep that goes in your cars, and all I could think of was how proud Nev would have been looking down, because he started it all for you guys. And on to bigger and better things. I mean, the Tatum is, when the start of the weekend, I thought you guys could definitely, Team Taylor could definitely run in the top 5. But the way you, once Josh Howes exited the race on Sunday morning, the way you took hold of that lead and grabbed the win was, truly impressive. So congratulations to Ryan Taylor and Kai Floyd. Shane Ethelstone and Adam Troller, the WA fraternity, they've come over with the goods, and a second outright, their best AORC finish. So confidence is sky high for Ethelstone Racing. Some great points in the bags. Only about 40 seconds off Ryan Taylor, and they sort of hovered around that 40 to a minute margin the whole Sunday. With the timing system that was down there, no one actually knew exactly what the end result was, but great result for Scooter, and he'll be definitely one to watch up at the Big Fink Desert Race in 2 weeks' time. Matty Hansen and Nigel Penderberry, a great result for them. Their first finish in nearly 2.5 years for the SMU Racing Jimco. They had that little rollover on Saturday, but the first 3.5 minutes off the WA crew. It wasn't maybe the result Matty was after, because we all know how he likes to be in P1, but he did say after the race he probably run the wrong tyres, but to bring it home in P3, he did bank some points, and he said after St George that his championship's probably over. But I don't know about that. The way the point score works in 2022, Matty Hansen is still a big chance for AORC glory this season. Jake and Kate Swinglehurst, an amazing story, a brother and sister combination, very new to the sport. Their first year campaigning the ex-Shannon Wrench, Brett Comiskey Jimco. They've gone straight to second in the championship. I mean, very, very impressive. A 5th at St George 399. They backed it up with a 4th here in Pooncarie. And the Jimco is really looking the good. So it's a great start to their season, their career, their campaign, however you want to put it. Jake Swinglehurst is the real deal, and don't discount him for a podium finish at Fink in a couple of weekends' time. Gary Turnbull, one of the season campaigners. I know he's got his daughter Tamara in the navigator's seat. Another cool story. He didn't have the best results at St George, but he just continually worked his way up through the ranks there out at Pooncarie. A 5th finish. He moved himself up well in potential for a big ORC result in 2022. So congratulations to those guys. Jason Noonan, who's actually on the committee down there at Pooncarie, the Sunraysia Motorsports Club, he come home in 6th, his best finish in a number of years at his home circuit. The first of our trophy trucks, Brent Smoothie, he had a great run. He started out at 13th on the Saturday, and he took trophy truck honours 3.5 minutes ahead of Brett Comiskey, who was the next buggy home in 8th. But as I said, great to see Brent Smoothie back in where he belongs, really. I mean, it's a great piece of machinery. Brent's a great guy and always good to have around the sport. And he'll be hard charging down the Fink Desert Race terrain in a couple of weekends also. Brett Comiskey, a very consistent approach. He did enter the race just wanting a class result, but he now leads his AORC class and sits equal third outright with Ali Howes in the outright championship. I like what Brett Comiskey does. He's a smooth criminal in racing terms. He's got that beautiful ex-Toby Geyser Brothers trophy truck dialed in. Sounds an absolute treat. And yeah, I mean, I think Desert Race coming up, it should suit the truck on the Rainbow, which I believe might suit it even better. You can't discount Brett Comiskey for an ORC title in 2022. Another pleasing result for me after his bit of a mishap at St George 399 was Mel Brandle home in 9th, the first of the Pro Lights. He had a hard-fought win over Ali Howes. That battle is really well and truly on. Brandle's obviously got the upper hand here. Ali got the advantage at St George. But I like what Mel and Melissa Brandle do. That Subway planted Alumicraft is a picture. And yeah, I really tip them. They'll be up there at the Fink Desert Race. Top 10 beckons for those guys, I believe. And also good to see the president's son, Jake Freckleton, get his best AORC finish down there. He come home in 10th outright. And I don't think they'll be at the Fink Desert Race, but they were around 6th outright at the end of day 1. I believe they had a few dramas, maybe a flat tyre on the Sunday, but bigger and better things ahead for Jake Freckleton teams. I believe they might even be looking into a new purchase, but yeah, stay tuned for that. So as I said, Derek and I made the trip down there and had an absolute fantastic time in Pooncarie. We caught up with some of the legends of the sport, highlighted by the Shannon and Ian Wrench selfie in the Pooncarie Hotel, which was a bit of a treat. And other good friends, the Griffith lads, awesome fun. Glennie and Jason, mate, you guys are legends. Of course, the Howes, always good fun with them. Now take a look at our own Pooncarie adventure and more great coverage from our awesome contributors. Check it out. Lachlan Bailey claimed a surprise side-by-side pro class win over the ever-consistent Greg Campbell. I mean, it's an extraordinary story, Greg Campbell. I don't know if many people looked into it as much as I have, but I think it's around 10 or 11 ORC events in a row that he's actually finished, dating back to 2017. I mean, it's an extraordinary record. I know he was second in 2019 in the ORC, but the way Greg Campbell performs, the consistency of that Can-Am, you can't write anything out from those guys down there in Sydney. Kalgoorlian champion Nick Hicks finished third in the side-by-side pro class. He did push a little too hard on Sunday whilst in the class lead and had a massive off, but managed to finish, which was a great result. Also, a note to Josh and Paul Weidman up there in Brisbane. Those guys led the class in the Sunday and had a pretty large rollover there into a tree. So everything was okay, of course. So lucky for those guys, and all the best for you up in the Finke Desert Race in a couple of weeks, and a good team going places. Ali Howes was another tremendous story yet again. Unfortunately, Josh bowed out with some gearbox and ordinator issues on the Sunday after winning the prologue. But Ali Howes flew the flag for Howes Motorsport. Couldn't be a prouder moment for Glenn as he saw Ali come home in 12th outright and second in the pro light class. She just continues to punch above her weight. It's literally girl power in off-road at the moment for Ali and Sarah Corrigan. She now sits third outright in the championship with Brett Comiskey. And the way that Jimco performs they've just got it dialed in. I mean, it didn't miss a beat all weekend. She could have done another few laps, she said. They're both fit girls in the pit. So, yeah, Finke Desert Race. I mean, they've had about 16th, 17th position. A couple of times before now, they've had 14th position. So, you never know. Ali could finally break the duck and into the top 10 at Finke. So, all the best for those girls up there at the Finke Desert Race. Bo Robinson and Shane Hunt, another interesting story out of the weekend. They did have a few drums. They dropped a cylinder in the prologue. They knew they might have had engine issues because they just couldn't source the parts after St George. They suffered a bit of a rollover on the Sunday and had to pit on the opening lap, but crossed in 13th. So they were very happy to get a finish, and they sort of start their ORC campaign. They are a long way back in the standings now, but hey, Bo, if you win the next 4 races, you're a big chance, mate. So hang in there. Also to James Tyrrell, his Sports Light, John Wise, his Side-by-Side Sport, and Jody Alling, who won the Battle of the Production 4-wheel drives over good friend Jeff Pickering. Between these two, I believe they got bobbed 4 or 5 times over the course of the weekend. But Jody Allen, she got home. I think it was only about a 10, 12-minute victory, but it's a credit to both of those competitors. They finished full race distance, and it was very tough, sandy conditions. So congratulations to Jody and Jeff. Toby Waitley was in and around the top 5. He prologued a crazy 4th until Sunday morning where he blew an engine. About the 60-kilometre mark on lap 1. 9-time Australian champion Shannon and Ian Wrench, who we mentioned before, they bowed out on the opening lap with turbo dramas, had a lot of smoke, didn't want to risk it obviously with their engine. They will line up at the Finke Desert Race in a few weekends. So all the best to Shannon and Ian as they attempt to add another Finke title to their resume. Matty Huxley's effort was pretty huge. We did go down with Matty and he come home in 15th despite a flat tyre on the opening lap on Sunday. But my hard-earned award down there at Pooncarie goes to Craig Barnett, who crossed on 3 wheels after busting a front arm about 20 k's out. He got to the 8k mark and everything let go. The shocks, the wheel fell off, everything went wrong. So they had to get out, ratchet strap it back up, hold it off the ground. And I think they stopped 4 or 5 times between the 8k mark and the finish. It was an extraordinary effort. Congratulations, mate. I do a lot of work for Craig Barnett in the media department, but you win my hard-earned Pooncarie award. Also, a special mention to Paul Tuck Lee, who for the first time in 11 years went out on the track in the ex-Murray Bignell Pro Buggy, and he completed the entire race in 32nd outright. So a great effort, mate. I know you've been missed from the sport, and it's great to see you back. Even though you did have a little bit of a mishap there on the opening lap on Saturday, but that's what it's all about. So that wraps up our Pooncarie Desert Dash review for 2022. But as I leave you, stick around to check out Matty Hanson's Pooncarie adventure. Cheerio.